Hi, morning traders. This is Robert, your markets educator at FX Pesa. I'm glad everyone is joining in. So if you're joining in, say hello. So as you join in, remember every day when you wake up as a trader, what you need to do is make sure that you've looked at the economic calendar. Go to the economic calendar. In our case, we're using Forex Factory. Get to know what kind of economic news could affect your positions. You remember fundamentals move the market, right? So in our case here, you want to see, okay, what's really happening out here? And so you have a better outlook on the market. So to start off, we'll see on Tuesday. Today we had the claimant count change news, and basically more interested on the unemployment rate, right? So we can see a dip in the unemployment rate, and as we'll look at our charts later, we will see GBP USD has strengthened courtesy of this, right? So it means the number of guys who are seeking employment in the UK have dropped. So that can only mean that the economy is doing well, that it has created some jobs, right? And that boosts some confidence on the pound. So if we go to now what we're interested in, it's on the Canadian dollar. Later, we'll be having a look at the CPI. So month on month, traders are not expecting this change to, don't expect much change, because if you look at the forecast and then we have the previous. So the previous was negative 0.2%. So the expectation that traders have is that this number will not change. So they are expecting to be at negative 0.2%. So what happens if this number increases? So for example, what if this number comes out at 0.1%, right? So if that comes out at 0.1%, it will mean that we will see the Canadian dollar strengthening, right? However, if this number continues dipping, then we will see the Canadian dollar weakening. So that's what we have on the CPI month to month. And then we also have the median CPI over here, changing the median prices of goods and services consumed by purchased by consumers. So if the number is greater than forecast, then of course it's good for the currency. So if this number comes out higher than this, let's say 2.4%, 2.5%, then we should see the Canadian dollar strengthening. If this number comes out, the forecast, if this number comes out lower than this, maybe 2.2, 2.1, then we will see the Canadian dollar weakening. Then we also have the trimmed CPI year on year, and this one, changing price of goods and services purchased by consumers, excluding the most volatile 40%. So you're talking about food, you're talking about fuel, right? So this, once again, if this number comes out higher than this 2.5% or 2.6%, then the Canadian dollar should strengthen. However, if this number comes out lower than this, maybe 2.3, 2.2, then we should see the Canadian dollar weakening. Then we also have the common CPI. So this one, the expectation last month, if you look at inflation, if we go to Canada over here, the inflation rate in Canada was 2%, right? So this is what we are seeing here as the previous number, 2.0%. So if this, the expectation of traders is that this number will increase to 2.1%. So if this is the case, if this number comes out higher than 2.1%, maybe 2.2, then we should see the Canadian dollar strengthening, right? So remember, the goal of every majority of these, let's say Bank of Canada, is to keep it at 2.0%. So far, the Bank of Canada has achieved this. So if this increases, then that will be raising some questions on interest rates, huh? Because an increase in inflation is not a really good thing, right? Especially where it's steadily increasing every month. It means it affects the prices of goods and it affects the prices of goods and services, so they continue rising. And remember, your wages or your income is still constant, right? So what does that mean? It means if there are some food items you were to buy, maybe last month you bought food items worth 1,000, there's been an increase in inflation. The things you bought at 1,000, with your 1,000, you'll buy lesser of what you bought the previous month. So it's really not a good thing to have inflation in a country, right? So that's why all central banks tend to push to 2%, so that at least they're able now to also stabilize the economy, stabilize the prices of goods and services. Because when there's too much money in the economy, of course, it leads to increasing prices of goods and services. Yeah. So that is what we are expecting on the Canadian dollar at 3:30 p.m. during New York session. So with that understanding, basic fundamental understanding of how to interpret this data, then let's now go to our MT5. Now let's look at the technicals. Now that's the fundamentals. Let's go to the technicals and see what are we looking at as traders. So this is what I've just said. The unemployment rate has dipped, and so we can see GU has gone up a good 89 pips. Sorry, not 89, 39 pips. 38. What to calculate using the crosshair? 38 pips. So uh, that's the effect of that unemployment rate we've just looked at. Now let's go to Euro USD. Let's start off with Euro USD. So it seems like the dollar is weak, and so if you look at these trades, what do we expect? I would want to see how the dollar reacts to this price level over here. I would want to see a bullish push to 0.935, right? So this is what you call yesterday's high, the highest price the previous day, right? So if we were to see a bullish push on Euro USD, that will be an interesting outlook on this particular asset, right? So if you look at these trades, like I've just said, these pushes because of the weak dollar. The dollar is weak, and so we can see the bearish push on USD pairs. So if you go to USDCHF chart window, you can see what USDCHF is doing. It's also bearish. So this is also bearish, right? So if you go to M15, we can see this bearish push. So we would want to see how USDCHF reacts to a particular price level here. I'm still bullish long term on USDCHF. However, this is more of a retracement. Maybe I'm looking for an area where we could see some support. Maybe to this moving average over here. Alternatively, we could see USD CHF drop to 86.01. So actually that's an area I would want to see USD CHF come to. That will probably act as an area of support before the continuation of a bullish push. So I'm really anticipating, because we can see a lot of consolidation that played out over here, right? So this area was a very strong support. So I'm still expecting a further push to the upside, maybe to that high over there. That's an area I would want to see USD CHF get to. And that area, if we map it out, maybe we can go to this price over here. So there's a possibility of a continuation to 87.74. But so far, Short-term intraday, it's more like a short opportunity before that bearish push plays out. So if I were to look for trades, I'll be looking for this short position. Let's look at GU. What's GU like? So GU, if we go to higher time frames, H4, I would want to see GU test last week's high. So last week's high is somewhere around here, 31.34. So I would want to see GU probably push to 31.34 and then encounter some resistance before maybe a bearish push, because I'm still bearish on GU. I'm still bearish. So this is an opportunity for me to buy to sell GU at a cheaper price, because I would want to see GU test last month's low. You see this low over here, the September low. This is an area I would want to see GU get to. So probably I would want to see that bullish push and then a bearish push to that low over there. Okay, so let's look at Audi USD. So on Audi USD, we can see a gap that was formed yesterday that is yet to be filled up. So there's a high chance that we could see AU headed to this gap. Yeah, so because what has happened is AU has tested yesterday's low, which is, you see, this was Monday's low. It has been tested today, and AU seems like to be bullish. So I would want to see how maybe this trade pushes to close this gap over here before maybe a continuation of the bearish push on Australian dollar USD. Now let's go to USD card. So we can see USD card has been bullish, wow, for a whole 2 weeks, right? So it has been on a bullish run. And so we anticipate this bullish run to continue, but ideally what USDCHF is about to do is probably test this high. Maybe last, let's have a look at this. So we have this yearly high, that yearly high. However, I'll be looking at a possibility of maybe USD card going to these to form a head and shoulder at this price level. That's a possible area where we could see a head and shoulder pattern. Right, so that 846 is an area probably where I'll be looking for short opportunities. Maybe we could see that drop after USDCHF gets there. But so far, as we get into the news later in the afternoon, what are we looking at? Go to time frames. The moment USD card will start dropping, it will give some good pips. But so far, I'm still looking at that bullish push to that 846 is an area I would want to see USD card get to, courtesy of that yearly high. Right, we've just mapped out that high. That head and shoulder pattern from April 2024. So maybe get here, form that head and shoulder, right? And then see a continuation of a bearish. Now, we could probably see a reversal, and then the market could be bearish. There's also CADJPY. So CADJPY is it's screaming sell. So if I were to look for opportunities on CADJPY, I'll still be looking for short opportunities to 107.47. So maybe during the news later in the afternoon, we could see CADJPY get to 107.47. That's an area that has some support. As you can see a moving average over here. Uh, so far, there's a moving average on the daily. We have that 50 EMA that could be acting as an area of support. So maybe this candle over here could act as a bullish order block, which is the last bearish candle before a major move up that led to break of this structure, right? So this structure was broken courtesy of this candle. So 107.42 is an area probably where I would want to see CADJPY get to. Maybe as we head into the news. But short term, maybe we could see some bullish push. Yeah, we could probably see a bullish push before that bearish move. So we could probably see that bullish push play out before that trade takes a bullish trend. So ideally, I could see if you're mapping out this particular currency. Let me map it out in a way from where we are. So it's coming to the weekly low, last week's low, sorry. It's most probably coming to 107.82. Then we could encounter some support, and that support could push us to this low over here, 108, 108.20 before a bearish push. So if I analyze CADJPY, this is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a bearish push to test last week's low, and then we could see some bulls come in, and then maybe after that we could see some bears push the market down. That will be my outlook on CAD JPY. Yeah, that will be the outlook on CAD JPY. So a bearish push, bullish, and then bearish push. That's what I would anticipate to see on CAD JPY. Let's look at maybe gold, XAU USD. It's supposed to be up here. So remember, when it comes to gold, we still have the uncertainty. Everyone is still expecting Israel to strike back after the attack from Iran that caused some damage. And so I'm still looking for a bullish push on gold. So 86.85, 26.85, which is basically last month's high, is an area you can't rule out. Right? You can't really rule out this high. It's a possible area where we could see a bullish push. So remember what we normally say, if you're looking for such a trade, then make sure that you book your profits along the way. So the first area where you could book your profits is yesterday's high. So this yesterday's high is an area you could book your profits. Another area you could book your profit is at last week's high. No, not last week's high. Now we will probably push to 26.85. Yeah, so that's at least what I would want to see on gold. Okay, that's it. That's it from my analysis. Not unless, of course, someone wants us to look at a certain currency, or what do you want? Would you want UT100? Let's have a look at UT100. We need to analyze UT100. So go to higher time frames to have a better understanding of where the market is. So we have that area, which is the yearly high. All right, that's the yearly high. So we could probably see Nasdaq, UT100 test that high. But before we get there, let's look at other areas, possible areas where we'll be looking for opportunities. Go to that, go to H1. So we could see a possibility of the monthly high being tested. So the monthly high is the highest price in the month. So in October, we are in it, October 15th. So we could probably see a test of this high, last week's high. Yeah? Not monthly high, sorry guys. The month, last week's high. You know, we can see this area. September market came to test that area, and we encountered some sellers. Some bears were here before the final push. So we could probably see UT100 coming back to test that area. Excuse me. So this is what I would want to see on maybe UT100. Bearish push to 2315. That's the educational analysis on UT100. Yeah, I think we've done major pairs, and we've done gold, and then we've done an index. So if there's, not unless there's a question, that will be what I would probably would want to see in the market today. So just a recap, we'll probably want to see a bullish push on Euro USD, also a bullish push on GBP USD. We would want to see GBP USD probably test last week's high before a continuation of the bearish push to this low from September, right? Last month's low. And then we have USDCHF. We could probably be looking for opportunities to short USDCHF before a continuation of the bullish push. So long term, let's do this again. So I really love using my moving averages as areas of support and resistance, of course, with confirmations, right? So I would want to see how USDCHF plays out when it gets to this price level, because I would probably anticipate a bullish push. because this is the area I'm mapping out. That 800 moving average as a possible area of resistance. So in that 107 pips, yeah. So a bearish push and then a bullish push. Okay, maybe I can have a look at questions if there are any questions. If not, then just a reminder, we have a free masterclass session in Nairobi. I want to thank everyone who came to Kisumu last week. We were in Kisumu Acacia Premier on Thursday, and I'm sure you guys learned a lot. For more on this, make sure that you sign up for the online classes, right? The Zoom classes that we shared, because that's where all the fun is at, right? Yeah. Thank you, King Sprint. So this week we have, of course, now. Sorry, next week. Next week uh, we have a masterclass, Nairobi masterclass at Sarit Center. Make sure that you visit the FX Pesa uh, social media handles to get that link and register, right? It's really important. I will be there, Rufus will be there, and also Jared will also be there. Audi USD, Jack. We've just looked at Audi USD. There's a gap here. I'm sure you can see this gap. See this gap, eh? This gap is yet to be filled up. Eh? It needs to be filled up either today, but most definitely this is a gap that needs to be closed from yesterday, right? So that's why I've given that analysis. So Thomas Mashuma, what does sentimental analysis mean? Sentimental, just like the word sentiment. Sentiment refers to the views. What's your sentiment on something? What's your view on something? So sentimental analysis is where you look at the analysis of buyers and sellers. If let's say, let's have a look at an example of sentimental. There's something called a currency meter, right? So let me go to. Sorry, guys. We are back. My apologies. So when it comes to sentimental analysis, let's go to this one. This is the forex sentiment. Basically, you can see the sentiments of traders on Canadian dollar. So if you look at these, majority of the guys are looking for short opportunities on USD CAD. the red ones. And then the green one represents the bulls who are looking for long opportunities. So clearly this tells you the sentiments of buyers or sellers, right? Yeah. So, Thomas, I hope I've answered your question based on this. So, there's also something called the currency meter that basically gives you the position of buyers and sellers. And maybe I think there's a calendar here. If you look at currencies, this one doesn't give. There's something I'm looking for. And it's better, guys. Those who are favorite, if you love looking at stocks, then today there's a whole lot of news coming in from Louis Vuitton, Bank of America. We want to understand. By the way, I hope you guys understand that because I'm addressing this question by Thomas. CBK yesterday gave JP Morgan a go ahead to open a branch. Does this have any effect on market volatility? None at all. Actually, it's a plus. We want to see what the biggest bank in America will do in Kenya, because of course it's quite liquid, right? So if they are good in their products, I'm not sure whether they are targeting the retail market or corporates. But then again, it's an interesting play into the Kenyan market, having the biggest bank in the US operating Kenya. So Bank of America, we have Goldman Sachs, which are we also have Interactive Brokers. So today we'll expect a lot of earning reports, and this one will really affect your positions on S&P 500, right? So if you're trading in the S&P 500, then there's a high chance we could see a lot of movement moving forward. Yeah, so this is for everyone who's probably looking at who's looking at stocks. There's something I was looking at. Any other question as I identify? Thomas, I hope I've answered your question, right? Uh, when you analyze on trade, would you close and come back to the chart and take a trade? Kindly advise. Yes, yes, that's how you go about it. You don't have to close. You can just just come to your MT4, MT5 and open a position. Yeah. Any other question? Thomas, I've answered your sentimental analysis question, right? So there's something I was looking for, but currency meter strength there. So this one, you're able to see the positions of traders. Right, what's happening? Google ain't working. Link for Zoom classes. Kindly visit our bio. Do you know where our bio is? This one over here, right? The link bio. Visit this and you should now get these classes. So morning session and the evening session. For those of us in Tanzania, you might want to come here, Trading Titans Tanzania. Nice one, it's loaded. So this is what I was saying. This is a currency strength meter that enables you to see the positions. All right. So over here you can clearly see the Audi, Canadian, CHF, Euro, GBP, which one is strong? Yeah? So it gives you a sentiment of all these pairs to show you which one you should trade. So for example, if you're trading JPY looks like to be stronger as compared to USD. So if you go to your charts, there's a high chance that you will see that USD JPY is a sell, right? Now, if you go to this chart over here, you can see GBP is stronger. They are more is more stronger than USD. So if we go to our charts, there's a high chance we will see it's bullish. The trend is buy, right? Let's just look at those two simple examples, courtesy of this currency strength meter, right? USD JPY, based on this, it's bearish. If you look at actually this one, NZD JPY is so bearish. It's supposed to be bearish, huh? So let's have a look at USD JPY, NZD JPY, and GBP USD, because we've said GBP USD is bullish because this one is stronger as compared to the USD, right? So let's have a look at it. Let's go to our charts. So if we go to, let's add USD JPY. So we've said it's supposed to be bearish because we've seen JPY is very strong. So we are supposed to see a sell. You can see this strong sell that is playing out. The currency meter, currency strength meter is saying that JPY is very strong, which is why, and the USD is very weak. So which explains now this bearish push. Now, if you go to NZD JPY, it should be very bearish according to the currency strength meter. So this is a tool that you can also adopt. NZD JPY. I really don't have it, do I? Okay, so let's add it. You can see it's been bearish, huh? So you can see that bearish push, right? That has played out courtesy of the currency strength meter. Yeah. And then, of course, we've seen GU. We've seen GU is strong as compared to USD, and we've analyzed GU. We are looking for opportunities to buy up until 31, 34. That's probably an area we'll be looking at. Yeah, that's it. Any other question? If there's no question, then thank you guys. Remember to visit our social media handles, FXPesa, Facebook, IG, TikTok, LinkedIn. You will get to see that link if you're in Nairobi. Just register and let's meet at Study Center next Thursday. Those in Meru, we are coming next month, 8th, the 8th. On the 8th, we will be in Meru, and then also Bungoma. If we have guys from Bungoma here, we are coming to your town next month also. All right, so look out for that. So if there's no question, thank you for attending. Have a peaceful day. Have a peaceful week.